Barbara Marciniak pretending to be, channeling a Pleiadian alien.
Good afternoon. We are here, and once again, it is our great pleasure to be in your reality.
My question is around the challenges that we are currently facing.
The challenges, yes.
And can you speak about how they are linked to ancient times?
How they are linked to ancient times. Well, as our vehicle was explaining to you, the ancient times are not so ancient. And cycles occur, just as you have the seasonal cycles, the daily cycles, the yearly cycles. The visitors from long ago, they are still alive. And they have unfinished business here. And they have karma. Now, people hear the word karma and they think, oh, I must have done something wrong. It's not necessarily that. Our vicar was explaining to you about the Creator. Who is the Creator? The Creator, it's unknown. We don't know who the maker or the Creator is. No one does, but everyone knows of it. It's not a man, it's not a woman, it's not a location in another galaxy. It's not found in a black hole, it's not found anywhere, yet it is everywhere. It is a presence of intelligence that is in everything. And if you were switched on, you could go down to the seaside and pick up a pinch of sand and hold that sand and say, "Sand, tell me the story." And the sand would know the story because the sand is part of the Creator.
Good morning. I just decided to go ahead and give you an example of the Pleiadian language, being that it is, our theme of the month is origins. So we're learning all about our galactic origins and light languages, soul braids, soul family, any of these things. If you have questions, please join us at our learning and teaching group and our online spiritual family over at facebook.com/groups/or-reader. But for the next few days, if not longer, we're going to be discussing languages and origins and so many things related to light language especially. So feel free to give me an example of your light language and your interpretations, as there are different dialects to each language, and we have sort of a, for lack of better terms, old school type of light language, and then a newer modern version based upon dialects, especially in Lemuria, Lyran. Lyran has some very interesting things in terms of their many dialects, because they're split off in so many different directions. But today we're going to be giving you an example of a healing blessing from the Pleiadian Council, Pleiadian Andromeda Council, excuse me. I have a little bit of a throat chakra issue today, so doing this light language really helps me to get all of this out, and you're going to have to pardon me and forgive my continual throat interruptions that seem to be occurring. But I've written down something that I channeled last night. It was a healing blessing for the heart chakra from the Pleiadian Andromedan Council, and I'm just going to read it back to you. It sounds like this. Haya karamani yaka amanana haramana eloha aya aha amnaina kobeta ia aya ilala amana a eloha baita anana niyana ikanata siaya tiana ea teka ana iea tiana kiaya sasa gana nanuun maya moara shatatam shayaya eho lelo eho ea patatata eta aya ea me eno emuna ipite mame ipete mame eta emana pitana.
Scientists, other philosophers say, no, really we're not all that reasonable, all that logical most of the time. Really it's our upright posture, it's our opposable thumbs, it's how sophisticated our cultures are, how sophisticated our language is. And I'm not here to argue against any of that. These things are all important. I'm just saying that one thing of equal stature is left off this list, and that's the way that human beings live their lives inside stories. So Homo sapien, that's a pretty good definition for the species. But Homo fictus, fiction man, that's about equally accurate. Man is a storytelling animal.
We've been estranged from love for quite a while on this earth. So it's been there. It helps things grow. The birds pretty much do a lot of the work in helping things grow, I must say. And the earthworms, they do work pretty hard. See, love is what moves everything. And it's the wind in the willows. It is the little rainbow geckos pumping your bicycle on a sunny day on the weekend, going through a market in Tuscany with apples in the front basket of the bicycle. So what you love can be really hard to describe, and not everyone's gonna understand why. Some might say you're weird.
Just like yours, for cities and civilizations, DNA. They had names, and they knew God. I'll give you the information yet again, because I want to talk about time capsules, and I want to talk about something we've never talked about before, called the template. And I want you to understand how loved you are.
So this video I want to talk about the Pleiades, and I just want to share a couple points about them because I get a lot of questions about ETs and star beings and ultra-dimensional beings and especially the Pleiadians. So I'm going to be answering all of your questions right now. So an interesting fact about the Pleiadians is that their names are actually sounds. So when they take on a name or they name their children, it's a different process than what we have, which is almost like we choose a name that we think is cute or funny or whatever. We name our kid that. For them, they actually name their kid for the sound of their soul. So to them and to many higher dimensional beings, they actually can feel and hear the sound of a soul, and within that
Speaking about channeling, you had indicated that because of Uranus, the movement of Uranus, certain abilities, certain kinds of things sort of came about, and one of them has been your channeling with Pleiadians. And first of all, the group that you speak with are a group of individuals. Would you like to share some information about the channels that you have with them?
Well, really, I dark time in my life when everything fell apart, a very long relationship that I felt was going to last for my lifetime, and I was wrong. And just many things. I moved from New Zealand, did different countries, everything just in order for me to search more desperately for something more. There had to be more than just what I saw.
So as you can tell, Pleiadian sounds, in my opinion, a little bit like the Native American dialects, especially, a little bit of Lakota, something, even though it's not Lakota, it has a little bit of extra enunciations going on there, and it's a little bit more separated and less fluid.
it's their gift to the world, it's a certain color. We can, in 3D, we can't necessarily see that in a very palpable way, but higher dimensional beings can, or when your higher senses are open, you can. So they actually name their children and are named for their energy, and they actually can sometimes take on different names as their energy changes, but usually they just have their their name, and their names, a lot of their names actually have the sound ah in it. So I have a Pleiadian Gaia, her name is Selena. There's a lot of sound, and the reason why is a very strong Pleiadian sound is because
have requested that we interview Barbara Marciniak, who has not been doing video interviews or presentations for more than a decade. Thus, this is a rare event to see her. For those who are not familiar with her work, she's an author of several books that contain wisdom given to Barbara by a group of beings she identifies as the Pleiadians. We spoke with her about a vast array of subjects, from love to the truth about beauty, sexuality, and much more. Yeah, I think people learn about values by example, and certainly by role model. When they see that someone has the courage to say the emperor has no clothes, then they may want to say too. And we're going to be doing a lot of that. A lot. Astrologically, there's going to be a lot of hard things that we're going to have to integrate. People will, because we've placed our belief and trust in something. People, situations, institutions that don't honor that trust, and yet pretend they do. So this becomes a shock to people, because we are trusting beings. We are really pretty good at heart, most of us. And so we project, oh, I wouldn't do this, so nobody else would ever do this. And that's part of the credibility of these global elite, is they know that, and they all study psychology, they understand behavioral modification, they understand spirits, they understand astrology, understand the whole scoop. They're occult practitioners. You can open to this very wonderful relationship that's really a relationship with another form of yourself.
Only a few.
The Pleiadians have always worked through me and around me as a presence. I do not have what most people would call physical contact. I've never really seen ships, even though in 1981, when I was living in Taos, New Mexico, I awoke from a sleep state in complete panic because there were 3 blue extraterrestrials in my bedroom hovering or putting their hands above my bed. So I had that contact in 1981, and I never forgot it. I labeled it a dream, but I always knew it wasn't a dream. And the beings were small and very bright blue and kind of almond-eyed. And when I began channeling the Pleiadians, I remembered that event in 1981, and I knew that extraterrestrials, that other life forms were real.
Creating the fiction, and you're doing it effortlessly and on the fly. We're just addicted to these things. We wake up in the morning, we keep daydreaming, we have these little films that play in our head where all of our sick little fantasies come true.